Hello, it's JCal Arts, and welcome to my Let's Draw series where I draw a picture, you watch me draw, and I explain the thought processes behind the drawing. So in today's Let's Draw, I'll be doing a thing that I'll call a frame redraw. And this is where I take my own original characters and have them recreate a frame animation from an anime usually, or recreate a scene from a manga. And I particularly chose like anime and manga as the medium to do this because say what you will about the medium, and I particularly don't know what my demographics are considering that most of my videos at this point have been on Western cartoons, but say what you will about anime and manga, but it can create very creative, frames of animation and have crazy action shots of the characters and everything. And as an artist, it gives me a chance to, draw my characters and have them do things that I usually don't have them doing, and particularly gives me a chance to, draw action scenes or action poses of my own original characters, and particularly gives me practice for some hand drawing as this commenter has pointed out in one of my videos. So, no shame, but that's what I'll be doing in today's video. So I'll have my own original characters drawn to reference this particular picture of the main characters from Revolutionary Girl Utena. I believe this is official artwork, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this is artwork for a DVD cover. But Utena fans, you can always correct me in the comment section, kindly so. And I particularly have been drawn to Revolutionary Girl Utena as, in anime because I listened to the opening for the show, the opening song, and on anime fans, just like how Western cartoons have their little opening song featuring the main characters in the animation, so does anime. And the opening song for Revolutionary Girl Utena is amazing. I love Rondo Revolution. I listen to it almost every day, and I watch the official OP on Crunchyroll's YouTube account with the official, the animation that goes with the song. And yeah, I did the job that anime OPs should do and get you interested in the show. Now I would like to watch Revolutionary Girl Utena. And I don't particularly care for spoilers because if I like a show, I like a show, spoiled or not. So, you don't have to be kind or careful for me. But at the same time, there are probably people who haven't watched the show yet in the comment section. So just be mindful of them. And getting off that tangent, let's get back to the picture and get off the inspiration behind it. So in my picture, I have two original characters, a human one and a furry one. The human character's name is Merlin and the furry character's name is Henri. And as you can tell by, the Utena picture that I'm referencing for this drawing, Merlin's taking the position Utena does, and Henri takes the position and pose that Anthe does. And so I'll describe their general character because I don't have all the details ironed out as far as their backstories and everything, especially Merlin's, but I will let you know the general world they live in. They're university students who go to a magical battle high school style university with magic and swordsmanship and all this other stuff. And so that's just to give you a general scope of what world that Merlin and Henri come from, and rather all my characters come from. So Merlin, the human character, takes the pose that Utena takes, and I don't know much about the show, so Utena fans, if there are similarities in personality or archetype, then you can let me know in the comment section. But Merlin, I see as a character, is a biracial black woman, and she prefers to have an androgynous appearance and basically doesn't like to be treated very femininely, if you know what I mean. And Merlin is a silent character who doesn't speak, but she does have very expressive faces. And I also see her as a character who, is more about taking action than really thinking things through. Action first, thought second. And that mindset tends to get them into all sorts of situations. I would say they're accident prone, and so despite their silent nature, they can still cause quite a ruckus. And that's basically what I see Merlin as. And as far as a backstory, that's just a complete mystery, but this is basically the foundations for Merlin's character. Henri is the furry character who makes the pose that Anthe does in the Utena picture that I'm referencing, and while I don't know if Anthe is supposed to be an actual princess or if that's just metaphor, Henri, on the other hand, is an actual, noble. He's the son of a French nobleman, And his father is a, non-human chimera furry like him, and chimeras are just a, furry or non-human characters who are a mix of all sorts of different animals. And I see Henri as a very serious character who's no nonsense and takes himself very seriously. And this is because of the fact that he has a lot on his plate. He already is the son of a nobleman, which has its own stressors, but he also is the only non-human nobleman. And also, this includes his father. They're the only non-human noblemen in the French-inspired kingdom they come from, and that, is something that has gotten international attention in their world, and it's caused Henri to receive a lot of negative attention as well as good attention. And he has to deal with bullying in the university campus because the general disdain of non-humans getting noble positions and noble titles. And so he just has a lot on his plate, and so he tries to put on a strong guard to not be, or at least give the impression that he's being hurt by anything. So obviously I've not watched Revolutionary Girl Utena, but I understand that at least a part of it is that Utena and I'm break standard traditional fantasy tropes because, I believe Utena is supposed to be like the Prince Charming coming to save the princess, but, Utena's a girl, obviously, because this show is gay! And Anthe is supposed to symbolize both, the damsel in distress princess and Wicked Witch archetypes. And Utena fans, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to spoil potentially for anybody, because I did read some of the plot synopsis, not gonna lie. But just like how they are supposed to break fantasy tropes, I envision Henri and Merlin basically breaking fantasy tropes themselves, because the dynamic obviously switched as far as the genders. Like, Merlin is, the prince coming in to save the nobleman instead of the prince coming in to save the princess. And I see Merlin basically saving Henri from like the restricted, repressive life that he lives, and seeing her basically give him joy and fun that he otherwise doesn't have in this life. And I think that kind of describes the dynamic that I see them having with each other. And I also have kind of based Merlin and Henri around Beauty and the Beast, and that's because I have some personal beef and I want to get my opinions out on the internet, so here they are. And when I talk about Beauty and the Beast, I'm talking about the animated movie. So my personal issue with Beauty and the Beast is the reception that it has, because people try to plot up the movie like the romantic dynamic between Belle and the Beast as like some type of animated couple that's above them all, but I don't think it deserves that title, because the Beast imprisoning Belle was just something that was not necessary. Like, they could have not come up with any other way for Belle and the Beast to cohabitate the castle, to spend time and get to know each other without having this dark part of the story exist. Because really, I don't even think it's like Belle having Stockholm Syndrome. I think those takes are just completely off base. But I think this is just like Twilight erotica fan fiction being, added to a Disney movie. And that's the type of vibes I get from that element of the story. And so I just don't find the romance to be charming. It just went from charming to like, AO3 fangirl, Twilight fangirl bullshit territory, if you want me to be honest with you, and no hate towards Twilight or its fans. But I just think that Belle and Beast like romantic relationship was overhyped, and especially because in the original fairy tale that was a plot point that was just not there. So I don't know why they added that in there. And it just gives me like just corny Twilight, erotica vibes. But that's enough of my personal tangent. So to round out the commentary, Beauty and the Beast kind of, set the foundation for Henri and Merlin, and then Revolutionary Girl Utena inspired me to actually draw them on my channel. So I saw Henri and Merlin's dynamic to be the dynamic I wish Beast had with Belle, instead of like the weird thing he has with Belle in the official Disney movie. And really, I wish the Beast was like Henri, where they're both young men who are dealing with, crappy hands as far as like life handing out cards. They give them a crappy hand and they have a lot of feelings about it that they feel like they can't express or don't know how to express properly. And then Belle and Merlin are there to help them out as far as like just inspiring them to work through their issues more constructively and giving them the time and space to be themselves and be vulnerable. Because honestly, I find that to be more romantic than whatever happened in Beauty and the Beast. But, you know, we can't have them all, and that's what inspired me to create Henri and Merlin. And Henri and Merlin break fantasy tropes the same way like Utena and Anthony does, and so that's why I chose them for this Utena redraw video. But that'll be the end of my commentary. I would like to thank everyone for watching, and I'm planning on doing more content where I showcase my original characters because I do want to put more original content out there, but I still have, you know, ideas with a copyrighted cartoon, so it's not going to be a complete change. So thanks for watching.